Hello. Oh, you're on mute. Oh, look
Oh,
at
we're
you.
live.
Oh, look. You were
I
on
didn't,
mute.
I didn't realize we were live. Wasn't ready.
Oh, okay. So, what's up, guys? Another episode, another week of Frag Logic. We're episode 40 today, the big 4-0. Colin, we only got 10 more. 10 more until another guest invite show. Is that when we said we're going to do it 50?
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, 50.
When will that
Round.
be? Let's. Hold on.
That'll
Eight,
be second week of January, I think.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It'll be 14th.
January 14th. Yeah, buddy. Guys, be looking forward to that episode. But today, as always, joined by Colin. Good buddy.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I'm very poorly prepared today in general.
But no, today we're talking about a couple of different things. Obviously, the big hot topic for the past week or so has been Call of Duty Ghosts, the resolution wars between Xbox One and PS4, and basically, I can't remember who it was exactly, but it was just confirmed that last week that Ghost runs at 720p on Xbox One and 1080p native on PlayStation 4. So obviously that caused a huge hoopla. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about a PlayStation 4 Plus being required for online use, not necessarily in a negative way, but I think that's kind of slipped under a lot of people's radar after I was reading around and kind of seeing what people were saying after the fact was posted. Also going to give all my thoughts on Battlefield 4 so far. I won't say it was a rocky launch because last week I said it was better than it's been in past, but it's definitely not fantastic. But they're improving that. Colin, you have next gen. Oh no, that's me. Next gen spying on gamers. Talk a little bit about that, and then we got Call of Duty Ghosts. And what is Give Diretide?
Dota 2's annual Halloween event, which never came out.
Ah, okay. All right. So, weekend stuff. This weekend, obviously played a whole hell of a lot of Battlefield. I think I have like 25 hours so far, which is pretty fast since considering I started playing on Thursday, I think. I'm already at like 25 or 30 hours, like ranked 20, and I've been spending a lot of time with it, trying to get back into my Battlefield groove. Since we haven't really played it since Bad Company. I mean, you could say we played Battlefield 3 a little bit, but we really sank a lot of time into Bad Company 2, and then before that was
An obscene amount of time in Modern
not
Combat.
in Modern Combat. Yeah, so it's been like we've played every other Battlefield a whole lot. There was like since Xbox 360 launched. So you got
Yeah.
Modern Combat.
We
And
played
then
3 quite a bit, but not a ton.
Yeah, I mean, we played it late though, you know what I mean? And then once we figured out that they weren't going to do that tournament, then everyone just dropped it. So it was like, whatever. I probably need to move my mic closer for those people on YouTube that'll be like, oh god, the audio.
Still haven't picked it up, so I'll try and contribute based on what I've seen, but
Okay.
haven't played at all. I played the beta a few times, but that was it.
So you want to hear a game that I played maybe a couple days of? Started last week. Never gonna guess it. I'm gonna give you a couple tries. Anyone in the chat can also kind of play along in this. First off, it's a free to play game. All right. It's a shooter. It's one of the oldest free to play games for shooters, and it's still wildly popular.
Is it popular with the Brazilian persuasion?
No, but I know where you're going. It's along those same lines, Colin. It's along
Is it
those same
popular
lines.
with the Korean persuasion?
Kind of.
Oh, he just guessed it in chat. I was gonna say guns.
No, that's incorrect. Not guns. I think it is played in Korea a little bit, but it's specifically popular, I want to say, in Europe. Here's another hint.
Europe.
Yep. People were saying TF2. No, not TF2.
Is it free to play as in it's a free game, or they have microtrans?
They do have microtrans.
I'm not sure then.
Okay, it's so old that you can't even play in a 16 by 9 resolution. You have to play 4 by 3. Combat Arms, that's what Colin was going to guess. It is very close to that, along those lines. Combat Arms is getting warm. Quake? No. It's Quake. Oh, guys, it's Quake Live. Yeah. Quake Live can be played in 16 by 9.
Yeah, that fits a lot of your. Yeah, but it can be. Fits a lot of the criteria though.
It looks like Quake in terms of graphics.
Nexus? No, that doesn't have Necro. I have no idea.
All right. Does everyone give up? I think everyone's giving up. You give up?
Yeah, have I ever played it?
I don't know.
Okay.
So you giving up?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Unreal, Wolf Team, Shoot Mania, nope, 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 Quake, UT. Gaming, it's like, no! Give us time? Okay. I'll give you guys one more minute. Anyway, I was playing that game. I also played Loadout a little bit. I actually played our new game mode. I posted well, I didn't post it, but over on the Loadout channel I posted the new game mode. Colin, it's coming along. I actually would like to hear your thoughts on it.
What is the new mode?
It's called, well, right now it's codenamed House Party, but it has some Dota-esque elements to it, Monday Night Combat elements into it, leveling up involved, and there's 2 control points in the middle of the map that you have to capture when they activate, and they give you power-ups, and there's Jackhammer in there as well. So it's a nice little mix of some of the game types that we have, existing game types that we have, but then there's that built-in progression while you're playing too. So I actually played, we did an hour, I think, and a half of playing, and I played with all the community guys. It was freaking fun, man.
Sounds interesting.
Would love to see some of you guys play it.
I just did some CSGO, and I think that's it. I checked out a website called Code Academy. Have you seen this at all?
Is that the teach you how to code?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read about it on TechCrunch.
It's a pretty neat little site they have.
Want to link that in the chat?
Yeah. In terms of being able to just like, it's not just like a big page of shit or video tutorials or anything like that. It kind of lets you do stuff hands-on throughout the entire thing. It's pretty cool.
Tribes 2, no. What year did it come out? I don't know the release date. One of the very first free-to-play shooters out, I believe. I believe. At least it looks like it. I actually don't know how old it is.
You just keep saying it.
I don't know any other game that still uses 4:3 resolution. Like, I was trying to record some gameplay because I was just cracking up at. I mean, it plays well, but I was just cracking up when I was playing, and I was like, man, this thing has to be so old. But people at work reference it sometimes, and I'm like, what is this game? So I downloaded it.
Now you got me searching.
All right, so let me see. What else did I do this weekend? Okay, I got to tell everyone, this is for the YouTubers out there. I took a picture on Instagram, posted it on Twitter. I think I have to activate it on Facebook, but tried to also post it there. But you saw my Twitter feed last night at like 10 p.m. or something like that. This old dude in our parking lot was driving around. I don't know how fast he was going, but according to when we walked out there, because we heard this loud screeching, like someone was revving up or burning their tires, you know, just revving up their tires and creating a lot of smoke. So we look out the window, we see this huge thing of smoke, just cloud of smoke traveling along our complex where we live. And so Christy is like, oh my God, she saw some woman running. So she got like all nervous or whatever, and so she starts running. She was like, I gotta go help someone, I gotta go help. So she runs and puts on her boots and goes flying outside. I'm like, we don't even know if anyone is hurt. So she runs out and she's like, come on, KL. And I have the baby, and there's like this huge cloud of smoke. And so I was like, I'm not walking out there with her. So I wait a couple minutes until all the smoke clears. I go outside, and we're talking to everyone that happens. So that, when I walk out there, I'm like, what the hell is going on? There starts to get a crowd because everyone's kind of walking out from where they live and looking over, and there's a minivan slammed into the back of a Dodge Ram pickup truck, big one. He hit the pickup truck so hard, the back of the pickup truck slammed into another car that was parked next to the pickup truck. So basically, he had enough force to push the pickup truck, and then the car that was in the parking lot next to the pickup truck, the way he angled himself, it hit the back of that car that was parked there, knocked it over the median into the grass and onto this steel like platform railing. Just, I mean, it was just like what? So this old guy gets out of the car and he's sitting there like trying to explain himself, and I hear someone go, "What the hell were you doing?" Like really loud, like people are pissed. Christy's like getting all like something happened to her, because I mean our car was parked next to the one that got hit. So if he had enough force to hit that truck, and it was just a little bit more force, maybe that car would have pushed into ours, but we got kind of lucky. And so she was mad because that car could have been our car, right? So she's just mad by the situation. And so I'm sitting there laughing, not at them, but like I'm trying not to laugh towards them. I'm just like laughing with Christy because this old guy gets out and he's like, he has his posture is like he's all slouched, like he's so sad that this happened.
But still is like, where am I?
But he's like so slouched, like his head's down. He has like this hat on, blue shirt, glasses on, looks like he's like 70 years old. And I'm like, man, dude, you just fucking do not need to be fucking driving right now. And so he's trying to explain himself, and he's like, yeah, I was looking for a parking spot, and I just didn't see the cars. And I was like, what? That's all you have to say? You're not going to say you were going too fast, because that's clearly, he had to be going 50 miles an hour in the parking lot. The woman's, the truck that was hit, the back of the pickup truck, she's standing out waving her hands like, no, no. And then apparently he didn't stop, so she ran out of the way. So that's who Christy saw running around. She was like panicking and like crying and sobbing because this guy almost ran into her. And her boyfriend is the one, he owned the truck. He comes out, he's livid.
Yeah.
He was pissed. They just moved in 2 days ago. So they had furniture in the back of the truck. I mean, it was a mess. But we stayed out there for about 20 minutes listening to this guy. He was like mumbling. Like he felt so bad. I know he felt so bad, like an asshole, but he was mumbling. He kept pacing back and forth, like looking at the damage that he did, and like shook his head. And all you heard people say was like, hope he has insurance. Hope there's insurance in this. And that's all you kept hearing people say. But how do you hit fucking 3 parked cars? 3 parked cars.
In a parking lot. That's
in a parking lot.
In an apartment parking lot, no less, where you have to actually make some turns in order to get that far.
Colin, 3 parked cars. You hit 3 parked cars. That has to be a fucking record.
That's impressive.
And he said he was looking for a parking spot. How do you hit? Was he thought he was in a monster truck, like he was just gonna roll over 3 cars and make his own parking spot.
Maybe that was the plan. Maybe he was just old and confused and thought he was in a monster truck.
It's just...
You're not too far off yourself.
It's just...
Pretty soon.
Okay, I gotta get back. That was a funny little joke there, yeah.
All right, I have 2 guesses. There's a bunch of guesses in the chat. Are any of those right?
War Inc. is the probably the closest, because I think that it looks as shitty as War.
I got War Rock and Special Force, or Soldier Front is the other name.
And Nope. All right, so you guys ready? Everyone has officially lost. I told you a nice little story. The game that I was playing is called Crossfire.
Oh, you said it was big in Europe. It's big in Asia, dude.
That's what I said. Asia. You said
You
Korea.
said
I
big in
said
Europe.
it is big. It's big in Europe and it's big
Chat,
in
did he not
Asia.
say it was big in Europe? He's like, yeah, it's probably a little bit big in Korea, but it's mostly big in Europe, is what you said.
Your initial question was, is it big in Asia and Korea? I said yes, and then
I
I
would have
said
said
I think it's
Crossfire.
big.
And it's not that old, I don't think.
Well, you couldn't. You couldn't trick me.
There we go. Tense has my back. Said Europe. It's all right. It's all right.
I did say Europe, but I agree
I
with
would have
him when
said
he said
otherwise.
Asia.
It's a pretty big game, and I have played it.
What is
It's
the release date? I said I didn't know the release date.
'07 in Korea,
Okay,
08,
that's
09
pretty,
for the
but
rest.
That's pretty old. '07 is pretty old for a free to play game. But it looks like it's from 1999 though.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that game makes bank.
That game is huge.
Well, I don't know if it makes bank. It has a lot of players.
It has a lot of players. I was really surprised.
I don't know if it makes money. I'm sure it does, but I don't know.
You know, we were playing. Well, I was playing Warface. You played it too. The UI for Warface, the whole interface for Warface, looks like it's a newer version of Crossfire. Just point for point, and even some of the maps look like they were taken from Crossfire. Spawn points, you spawn in one location if you play in TDM. There's even a map that has like the same. I think the map is called Hangar on Warface, but it's like those crates are in the middle of the map, and it's like you're winding through crates, and there's like little spots you can get up. It's the exact same layout. Like,
yeah, I mean, that game was popular enough that I'm sure that all these free-to-play games are copying that model. Like Ghost Recon Online is the same way, where it's just there's like one or two spawn points in your spawn. The map is pretty linear, as you all meeting in like in a really close place. The maps are pretty small. Like they all have that same format. That's the same thing that Warface did. So I imagine they're consciously copying off that format from Crossfire because it's like we said, it's freaking huge. There's some reports that would have it as like up there with COD in terms of player counts, depending on what sources you use.
I was blown away, dude. There was full servers packed. Like it shows red, like you can't join the server. So I saw
they have lots of weird ass servers too, which are really popular.
Yeah, I saw maybe 30 servers maxed out full, and I don't know what the capacity of but I was just blown away, really impressed by the number of players that are still playing that game, and it looks so terrible.
Yeah, what's funny is it plays really similar to like Combat Arms or any of
Combat
those
Arms, Counter-Strike,
any of those free-to-play military shooters. Yeah, Urban Terror, even going to Quake.
Yeah,
that game.
That's why I said when you said Combat Arms, I thought that was going to be your next guess. I thought you were going to be a Combat Arms, Crossfire.
No, I didn't say Crossfire because it was too obvious, and then you said it was big in Europe. It didn't release in Europe till 11, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, okay. All right, so
it's all that Chinese player base.
Huge, man. I want a little bit of that action. Give me some of that. All right, let's go ahead and go.
Let's make a Counter-Strike clone. Or maybe these days make a COD clone and get it on consoles for free to play.
Resolution Wars, X1 versus PS4. I think we talked about this a little bit last week, right?
A little bit. The one caveat, I know you during the intro you said that it was Ghost that was mostly picked on here for the resolution stuff.
Yeah.
But it's actually been several different games that have been
confirmed
or rumored on those numbers.
Yep.
And then most recently been like pseudo confirmed by secret sources and shit. But it sounds like that's going to be the standard across most of the launch games, if not all of the cross-plats.
Right. So the first question I got to ask you is, does resolution matter to you? And I think I kind of worded it the same way last time, when this was, or last week rather, when we kind of just touched on it. Does it matter to you?
Not to me. And I'll point you to the same thing which I said last time, which is my Quake settings. Like, in a ideal environment, I just want to be able to see players. Resolution doesn't necessarily matter in the end, but if the trade-off is I get a smooth 720p or a nearly smooth 1080p for 60 frames, then I'll go towards the 60 frames every time. Now, if both of them are struggling to hit 60, then yeah, I'd rather have the extra resolution, you know?
Okay. All right. So I am you know, it's just our nature more than likely, but I'm along the exact same vein as Colin. Resolution really doesn't matter to me. There are certain things where if the pixel density isn't quite up to par. And say for some games like Battlefield, for example, or Call of Duty, people are head clipping, and you can't tell if it's a head or not. Maybe it comes into effect there. But for the most part, I care about how smoothly the game is running. So if you're going to give me 1080p at 30 frames per second or 720p at 60 frames per second, I'm going to take the 60 every single time.
That's not necessarily a trade-off. I think most games are targeting the same frame rate on both platforms because that's what makes sense.
Right.
But I would be surprised if a game was able to hit 1080p smoothly at 60 and then can't hit 720p smoothly at 7, you know. But if it's struggling, it tends to be more on the higher resolutions, I would think. But again, it's all just like, really, it's me on a game-by-game basis, right?
Yeah. So here's where I think the question comes into play. And this is totally, we're taking this from like maybe the competitive standpoint. I think anyone that's in our kind of same vein doesn't really give a shit about resolutions per se, 720p versus 1080p. But I think for the average consumer out there, and average is a very loose term I'm going to use for this, because if you're watching this show, if you are interested at all in specs and you're keeping up with it, more than likely you're not a casual gamer. You're not really an average gamer. You're probably more leaning towards the hardcore because you're sitting there looking. Most people probably don't even care. They're just going to buy what they're going to buy because either their friends have it or their kids are asking for it or whatever reason. They're just going to make that purchase. Maybe it's loyalty or whatever. So that aspect of it is hit or miss. But should this influence your purchase? And so some of the compelling arguments that I saw for this were Microsoft and Sony touting who has more power, which system is going to be stand the testament of time. And I think it's a little troubling and perhaps a little concerning. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you just
what?
What's going to stand the testament of time?
I said the test of time.
No, you said testament.
Whatever.
You just throw it out there. I can't just let it
Who
go.
Cares? Whatever.
It's going to stand the testament of time. I like it. I think it's a good metal band name.
Testament of time. But
anyway,
yeah. So, whether or not you're going to purchase this, I think it does kind of look bad for Microsoft, who has continued to say, "Oh yeah, don't worry about what Sony's saying. We're just as strong. We're just as powerful. Our systems or specs are going to be awesome. You're not even going to tell the difference." And then have all these games come out and be 720p versus native 1080p for PlayStation. That doesn't look very good from a press standpoint, from a PR standpoint, for them to be saying, "Oh yes, we're just as powerful. Don't worry about this. Don't do this. You guys are good. This is the best purchase for you." And then you come around and you're like, "I can't even run this. You're going to upscale this to 1080p. It's not native." And Sony's like, "Hey, why aren't you over here? Like, we're running this same game on our platform, better resolution for you, and you're sitting there listening to their bullshit." So I think there's a very fair argument for at least people in this whole console war type of things saying, well, let's look at what Sony's doing and let's look at what Microsoft is doing. And Microsoft has been filling us with bullshit for a lot of, I'd say the whole 6 months since May to now has been a lot of changing stuff, bullshit people don't want to hear. And Sony, for the most part, they've been keeping a lot of stuff quiet, but they've been the golden boys. And this is a very good example of not just them having a policy and then not acting on it. This is them saying, this is 1080p. Our console is better, has better specs, it's more powerful. Let us prove it. And then Microsoft saying, don't worry, you can prove it, and then coming up short.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, the exclusives are almost undoubtedly going to be running at 1080p, 60 FPS on Xbox.
True.
Because they're going to optimize and be able to get to that bar, especially the Microsoft Studio games. I'd be really surprised if they released at 720. Or 720 upscale to 1080, which is what they're currently doing.
Right, and I think Forza has confirmed 1080p. So it's not that
so.
the console
I mean, it's
can't
possible.
do it.
Like, it's not like it's completely out of the question. And who knows, maybe a couple years from now, all the games will be like that and it won't even matter because it's been optimized. Like, to me, you go back and you look at the games that were released with the Xbox 360, and you look at the stuff now, and
Windy.
It's not even comparable, right? Like,
right. I mean, yeah.
I can show you, for those that forgot, I can give you a screenshot of Perfect Dark Zero real quick. Here, I'm going to get it. Because I happened to be looking through a bunch of map footage the other day for my top 10 maps thing I'm putting together. And it's pretty bad. I mean, it's not... It's rough. It's rough would be the best.
It looks better than Crossfire.
Like, there's probably the best screenshot of PDZ I can find. So like, there's some things, but you remember like when the system came out, that was like the visual standard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and at the time you were like, "Oh my god, that looks great."
But this is a like PS Vita game, you know, in terms of graphics. Like you see the same thing on the PlayStation Vita or the PSP.
So I mean, for us, and again, I'm going to reiterate this: I don't care about the resolution. I care about how smoothly it runs. Are my friends there? Is the game enjoyable? Which game is better over what experience am I going to have that's better? I don't like though that Microsoft has continually said through and through that their system is just as strong, just as powerful, and then have these launch titles that aren't up to par with what Sony's are. I think that's a little concerning from a first impression. I'm gonna buy this and I'm not gonna cancel my pre-order, because I've seen people like, I always read the comments too. I wonder how many people actually act out on those, or they just talking shit.
It's very few, I'm sure.
I'm gonna cancel my pre-order. Fuck this shit.
I think that said, I think that it's has a bigger impact on people that are buying day one, because usually like people that are buying day one are A, diehard fans,
right?
Well, B, people trying to flip the console for profit, which is probably a big chunk even. But then I'd say most people are buying it because they want to be able to have the latest and greatest, right?
Right.
And they want to be able to show off that benchmark game to their friends and be like, hey, you want to come check out my Xbox One on my big screen, you know, and then have it up. So, like, they want the best thing available graphically to kind of wow their friends and their family and be able to play the latest and greatest. They have the money to do so on nice systems. So I'd argue that it probably impacts the launch people more so than people a year from now that might be buying more for, hey, I'm a gamer, I'm going to pick up the latest console because now there's some games I want to play, you know?
Right.
So I can see how it has a pretty big impact. That said, to me, I don't really care because the big thing that I'm excited for next gen is dedicated servers and 60 FPS. Like,
dedicated servers.
I'm a multiplayer guy, so like those are my things: is steadies and 60 FPS.
Sing about dedicated servers.
Probably end up getting them on both consoles, I think, but they're confirmed for Xbox One. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Those are, I think you actually hit nail on the head. That those are the exact same things that I'm looking for. Dedicated servers, and well, I want to say the game title specifically, but there's a couple games that I think we're eyeballing.
So you guys talking about Battlefield on next gen? The article I read, I think it was Digital Foundry, did the benchmarks. Hang on, let me get that up. But it's 60 FPS for campaign and anywhere from 30 to 60 in multiplayer. I don't think it's locked.
I think it wouldn't.
But they did say that the console that they had for PlayStation, I believe, was inaccurate. Hold on.
Dedicated servers, yeah.
So, I mean, that's not final, but that was from their tests, and the FPS was...
Hugh Diesel said, so not a reliable source.
They're usually really good. Them and, what's the other one? Can't remember. Yeah, they said it's 60 and drops to 50 a few times during the campaign. And the multiplayer dropped down to less than that.
Well, I'm going to be looking at the chat. I want to know from you guys in the chat and on YouTube if this is something that is a make or break for you, at least initially, or if you're just going to wait. You know, they're going to have this all ironed out by the time Titanfall comes around or Destiny releases. At least they better. So I'm hoping to see 1080p at least on those titles for sure. But I do want to know if that's something that you guys are concerned about. So let's go ahead and hit the next properties. What is this? PlayStation Plus?
Yeah.
Plus required. All right, so I'm not going to act like this is new news because I believe it was reported on back in June or whatever. But I did see some people's interest kind of peak up, and I know Christy doesn't know about this yet, right? So she's gonna, when we get the PlayStation 4, she's gonna sit down and she's gonna be like, "Why can't I play Call of Duty online?" And I'm gonna be like, "Well, you're gonna need PlayStation Plus in order to play online now." And she's gonna be like, "What? Why didn't you tell me that?" And so I'm kind of waiting. I don't know if I should tell her now or should tell her later. I'll probably tell her now. I should probably be a good guy and tell her now. I don't know. But anyway, so I saw an article either on GameSpot or somewhere. I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe it was Kotaku, of them talking about PlayStation Plus being required again, like it was new news. And I saw the comments. You know, obviously that was the first thing I wanted to look at. People like, "Oh my God, why are they doing this? They're gonna lose so many of their fans." And I think the reason that I know there's going to be backlash because people aren't going to realize it, because again, the average consumer, I think, for Sony's console probably doesn't pay attention to all this stuff like people like us do. So I feel like they're going to buy it, not be able to get online or not play whatever game that they have online, and then probably bite the bullet and end up getting PlayStation Plus, or they're not going to get it. But I am a little concerned about the reaction that people are going to have, because it wasn't like it was front and center. You now need PlayStation Plus to play online multiplayer. That wasn't front and center. It's always been like these little articles. You don't really hear a whole lot about it. And then it creeps back up every now and again, and there's not a huge fuss.
Was there ever front and center with Xbox? I can't. Like, I'm trying to remember if there was ever a point where it was super. I mean, it's been around since Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean, it's the original Xbox. You can't say Xbox One.
Oh, sorry. It's been around since Xbox OG.
They fucked us on that. You got to say Xbox, the original Xbox. You can't say Xbox One.
The Xbox formerly known as the Xbox One.
I can't remember I remember there were people being a little upset about having to pay for online because Sony's PlayStation 2 didn't allow that, or didn't allow. You didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Didn't require, I should say. And then Dreamcast also didn't require it, which were the only consoles that really had online play.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just like, we've had Xbox Live mandatory since what, like 04, something like that. So,
and I saw, who is that? Youngin. Now, what you just said, free to play will not require PlayStation Plus. That is not necessarily entirely true. It is actually up to the publisher to determine.
Right, but
whether
if the publisher
or not,
isn't getting anything out of it, then why would they?
So,
although if the publisher was Sony Online Entertainment, like PlanetSide is, then
you might have.
Maybe they would in that case.
Exactly. So it's up.
But
to
it'd be kind of dumb
publisher
for them to do so.
So
kind of dumb for them to do so.
Yeah, I agree. So just keep that in mind. The free to play is determined by whoever is making the, whether it be the studio, who would then be the publisher, or the publisher themselves. And it's also a 12-month subscription.
Has Microsoft said anything about that? Do you know?
No, I don't think so. Not necessarily in the same vein. I haven't seen it publicized. I think the thing here is.
I mean, I know like Project Spark is free to play without live.
So maybe.
So I guess that's. I mean, it's clearly possible.
Maybe.
Yeah, they should follow the same route.
But the thing. Well, I was going to get to this. Is 12 months for $60, which I think is the exact same price as
50.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, $50 in there.
Just
and I was going to say $60.
Xbox on sale all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So $60 on Xbox, 50 on PlayStation Plus. So they have them beat there. And then the other things that, at least on the Xbox 360, were gated by Xbox Live, like Netflix, which you're paying for your subscription to have it, and then is blocked by the Xbox Live subscription on top of that. That didn't make sense. So with PlayStation 4, those apps, I should say, aren't going to be locked and gated by the online aspect of PlayStation Plus. So that was some good news about that. I don't know if it is on the Xbox One. It better not be, because I will be equally pissed off if they don't do it on PlayStation and then they do it on Xbox.
Is it required right now? I don't think it is.
It
For
was
Netflix?
at the time. I don't know. It was at a certain time. I don't know if it is now. Gotta log in and see. I should log out and then check to see if it is. But it was at one point. It was at one point.
I've never minded paying for a subscription on Xbox.
No, because our service has been phenomenal.
Well, it's been good.
Good?
100 friend cap, ads on every freaking page.
Okay, that's... I don't mind the ads.
Like, it's the ads that drive me nuts. Like, just the fact they have it.
They just recently changed that, though.
They added more.
I know. They just recently upped the ante.
No, you remember ads. They upped the ante, but like even the old Xbox 360 dashboard had a spot for ads.
It wasn't as prominent.
No, you bring up the guide menu and it was like friends, invites, recent players, current game you're playing, and ad, and then like the media player controls underneath.
So you think that PlayStation Plus is not going to have ads?
I believe they've said it won't. Also, more importantly, PlayStation Plus does the free games, and they actually put good free games on there.
They did, yeah. That's very important. They add.
I'm pretty jealous of that, and they're always free. It's not like a time free like Xbox has been doing lately.
That's one thing that I've noticed that they've done very, very well is add in those free games with PlayStation Plus. That has been excellent with that. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to use it because I don't. Chrissy's not going to be like, oh, let's get PlayStation Plus.
Man, I'm just looking through this list. It's so good.
It's so good, right?
Battle of the Colossus, Ico.
Yep.
XCOM? Really? XCOM is free?
Yep.
Uncharted 3? Dragon's Dogma? The sequel?
It's good. Like, Sony's doing it right with that. They're not giving you... I mean, some of those games are old, but they're not giving you shitty... No, they're not even shitty. What should I say?
I mean, even the old ones are, like, classics.
It's old classics that no one would really be interested in playing is kind of what Xbox does.
Like, the only one Xbox has done is really Halo.
Halo? That's it. So, I am kind of eyeballing that. I'm going to try to get Christy on board with it. The only issue I have is paying for two subscription-based, yearly subscription-based things. Is like, man...
Paying $100 a month for...
$100 a month for... No, $100 a year.
Quick.
A year.
$100 a year, yeah.
$100 a year.
It ups the ante pretty quickly.
Like, So I think initially what I'm going to do is get both of them, both for a year, determine which service is better. I think Microsoft's is going to be better because they've been around longer. But I want to see how quickly Sony can kind of ramp up and catch up to them. Obviously, the Gaikai is going to be out for another year. I don't think it's going live until sometime next year, all their services.
Oh, the last estimate was like July.
July 2014, so...
I vaguely remember that.
8 months? That's not bad. So, I mean, once all those services are up with Gaikai, I think that they will be on par, at least close initially. Well, initially, yeah, at that point. So we'll see. But I did think that was interesting, worth talking about a little bit. I can't wait to see the YouTube comments. Colin, last week's YouTube comments, dude, we had some stuff. Did you read through some of them?
No, it was painful. I really hate the console fanboyism. Like, I get some of it, and some people don't even realize they're doing it.
Right. Someone called me out, and I try to remain objective. Like, I think it was D-Magma, something like that. He was like, "You're an Xbox fanboy, and you don't even realize it." And it was like in a video where I was shitting on the Xbox controller and the PlayStation controller. Like, okay. I guess I'm a fan of the Xbox controller more for shooters, but the Xbox One's analogs, which, by the way, I've already seen some people commenting on Twitter, are for babies. For baby hands. So,
the guy said he had baby hands and they're still small.
Yeah, so... whatever. But yeah, those comments,
Steam controller master race. I don't touch anything with a stick. I only do haptic feedback touchpads.
Battlefield 4.
I like the joystick casuals.
So last week we talked about the launch of Battlefield 4 being a little bit smoother than what we remember in past times. This week I've played, again, I've probably sunk in 25, 30 hours into the game. Have not touched single player at all. I don't think I ever will. Although Some people at work have been trying to convince me to because you unlock things through campaign as well for multiplayer.
That's what it takes to get you to.
That's what it takes, right? So I'm just not interested in playing Battlefield or Call of Duties ever. They're single players because they're so.
That's
generic.
the only reason I played the Modern Combat campaign is for that same reason. You had to do it to unlock one of the SMGs.
Yeah.
And so I played through like a quarter of it to get my stuff unlocked and then quit playing. Bad Company had a pretty good one though, so it might be all right.
Yeah, we'll see. I
enjoy Bad Companies.
I don't know. Anyway, so I've sunk a lot of time into multiplayer, so these thoughts are only reflective of a multiplayer aspect of it. I've played every single game mode, even through it got kind of. I even played some Rush and Squad DM. I played some Squad DM. It was a rotating server. I didn't know. I wasn't paying attention, so I hopped in like, let's go Diffuse. Can't wait to play some Diffuse. We get done with the first map, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. I spawn in, and some dude like shoots me from where I wasn't even ready. I was like, poof. I was like, what am I? And then I respawned immediately. I was like, oh, is this Squad DM? So yeah, I played some Squad DM for the first time on that server. Played Obliteration, lots of that. Conquest Large, TM, everything. I think my favorite game mode, Diffuse. That's what I expected. Diffuse is probably my favorite game mode, followed closely by Conquest, then Domination, then Obliteration, and then the rest of those can all go to hell. For the most part, you know, if you're hopping in Battlefield and you play Conquest, you're going to get that Battlefield experience that only is had in Battlefield. You know, jets, choppers, tanks, boats, little dune buggies, jet skis. I mean, there's everything, right? So, you know, I really feel like this game, more so than Battlefield 3, encompasses what they were trying to attempt with Battlefield 3, because I think there was some inherent flaws, some things that they did wrong with Battlefield 3 that aren't as apparent on Battlefield 4 with their multiplayer modes and game types. Some of the reasons I don't think I like, and I'll just go through the ones I don't like. Rush, for the modes. Rush, I never really liked Rush because it was always the ugly stepchild of Conquest. There's just something about the game mode itself. Like, it has bomb game mode elements of it, but because you're on that respawn timer, or the constant respawns with the tickets, it just doesn't feel as good. And I never really enjoyed it on what game with Bad Company 2 is where we played it a lot, Colin, because we had to.
Yeah.
So we had to play it. It was Squad Rush on Bad Company 2, and that turned you off to ever playing Rush again. So I was just done with it at that point. And then you had the.
What do you mean? Wasn't it super fun and competitive to fire rockets from across the map to hit the bomb buildings?
No, that was awful. So
wasn't it fun just spending hours each night finding new angles to fire your rockets from across the map to hit the bombs?
That was the lamest.
Have they fixed that? Have they done anything to fix that?
I didn't even.
You need to check for me. You have to check for me.
All that's gonna do is confirm that I will never play Rush again, ever.
I just need to know, because that was so insanely exploitable, and I just wonder if they actually fixed it after watching us in that tournament.
I think you can only blow it up by, because I don't think there's a health meter this time. So I think you can only blow it up.
Okay, so you can't bombard it.
I just don't. I hate it. I hate it. I don't like deathmatch because it's deathmatch. I don't think there's a game that does deathmatch really well. Maybe Halo might be the best. Maybe.
Quake.
But that's not. Are you talking team deathmatch or just deathmatch? I'm talking team. I should clarify. Team deathmatch.
TDM and Quake's fun. Actually has map control involved. I'd say Halo is probably the best other game.
Okay. All right. So team deathmatch on Battlefield is shitty. I would never recommend that you play that ever in your life. Do not play team deathmatch. It's terrible on Battlefield. That is not the Battlefield experience. And then Squad DM, it's not as bad as deathmatch. There are some elements of it that I like. It's not as bad.
Isn't it like 4 teams of 4?
It is 4 teams of 4, but
with random ass spawns? How is that not as bad?
It's not as bad.
It's like playing Wingman TDM.
The thing was, people weren't sitting up camping, and there was like, it was not like you felt like spawn camping. It was like you felt like your squad actually had.
I feel like you're hitting spawn behind because there's 4 fucking teams.
I don't know. You need to watch me play it, dude. I was ripping people apart.
I played it a bunch in Battlefield 3. I really disliked it.
I don't like it that much. I'm just
It
saying
was the
it's
best
better.
mode for getting lots of kills.
It is the best of the worst game modes. Is that better?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, it is the best of the worst game modes. I can enjoy it more than I enjoy the other ones that I just mentioned. And then right in the middle for me is Obliteration. I don't know whether to love Obliteration or hate it. There are some maps where it plays really well, and other maps where I just can't stand it because it's too big and you only have one bomb. I mentioned in one of the videos that I did that I felt like it would benefit from having multiple bombs based on the number of players that can play the damn game mode. It just makes no sense. So I think adding another bomb in there would make that more compelling, and it would actually probably put that right around the same realm as Conquest for me if they did that. I don't like that you can parachute in because it makes some of the matches obscenely hard. So there was one game where we ended up winning, but we were trying to cap, I think it was on Lankang map, we were trying to blow up, I think, B site, and I had the bomb. We made it all the way over to the generators. For those of you that have played the game, we're at the generators, and there's people parachuting over us, and they see you because you're always showing up on the radar. So they see you coming in as they're parachuting down, and they're shooting at you. I had people switching to rocket launchers, firing rockets in air as they parachute down at me because they can see the bomb. It was just, I don't know. There's just some elements of that I don't like. I think that's pretty stupid. And then the other game modes I think are all pretty good. Domination I like because of the lack of... The spawns are still a little wonky sometimes, but they're better than they were in the beta. It's like a mini training session for how you would want to play Conquest, capturing points. And you get to work your gun skills a lot more than Team Deathmatch because you don't have as many people camping. So that's one of the reasons I gravitate towards Domination. It does feel very Call of Duty-ish, so that might turn some people off. But overall, I think that it has more appealing elements to it than any of the other game modes that I listed below that.
You know, one thing that's interesting, ESL is a pretty big European league. They're doing I guess they're technically the official tournaments for Battlefield.
Yeah, I looked at that. If you look on Battlefield's site, they actually have a competitive...
Actually, I just linked it.
Yeah,
so that's in there, and at the bottom of the page is ESL competitions. And it's actually an electronic sports league, but it's a European site, so I always consider it the European sport, you know.
Yeah.
So they're holding a bunch of leagues, 120,000 euros in prizes. And the thing of note is that their competitive mode is 5v5 domination.
Yep.
Which is surprising, considering that all competitive Battlefield in the past has been like 8v8, I think?
12v12.
8v8 or 12v12, like, depending on what they were trying to fit into. So it's a pretty big departure for them. And they even posted a question article saying why esports, why this game mode. And in that, they say that after much deliberation, ESL and DICE came to the conclusion which game mode would be the best used for competitive play. So that's going to be the mode they're going to push forward, is that 5v5 Dom. Which is kind of interesting. Also, because if they were going to 5v5, I'm surprised they wouldn't push Diffuse.
Right. Which is by far my favorite, but there's some inherent flaws with Diffuse that make it not as good as it could be. But I don't see why it wouldn't be, because the map sizes, Colin, the map sizes for 5v5 Domination are the exact same map sizes for Diffuse.
Right.
The exact same.
But it's centralized, and you have to move towards the points in order to cap them immediately. Like, you can't let them sit there for 2 minutes.
Right.
So, I mean, I can see how the same map would play smaller with Domination. That's what I'm saying.
True.
The one thing, while we're talking about tournaments, this is all PC.
Yeah.
And it's all Europe only. So I'm kind of wondering if they're working on a partnership with a North American league to get a North American stuff going. Virgin Gaming, maybe?
Beefy. Yeah, so with my webcam, I'm just going to mention this real quickly. So my webcam is different this week because I have to clip a different section of the Google chat because we got this new upgraded version. And this is a quick fix. So I might be blurry today. You mentioned that at the beginning of the show. So yeah, what league, Colin? MLG?
MLG, Virgin Gaming. I assume one of those.
MLG, if they did a shooter, would be the first 5v5 shooter they've ever done.
Maybe NASL.
NSA, yeah, I
I
can
mean,
see that one.
they've only done StarCraft, but
That would be nice. I would rather EA just not handed it off to Virgin Gaming, but did their own league personally. But whatever, we'll see.
but so far they've got like 200 teams in their first ladder for ESL, which isn't too shabby.
So the other game mode is Conquest. I mentioned Conquest earlier. There's not really too much to say. That is Conquest is Battlefield. So I mean, I don't know what more anyone like. If you haven't watched Battlefield for the last 7 years, then I guess you wouldn't know what Conquest is. But it is bread and butter Battlefield. And then the last one to me is my favorite so far has been Diffuse. I actually played a 10v10 too, Colin. So, you know, I thought that you could only lock it at 10 max for the player, but apparently, I guess with custom servers, you can make it as big as you want. And so I played in a 10v10 just so I could get the feel of a bigger room with bomb game mode. And
yeah,
no,
I don't enjoy playing that in Counter-Strike.
No,
It'd be the same.
I would never recommend that anyone does that. It was pretty bad. So
really, essentially, like hang back and let your team die, and then handle it from there.
Yeah. So, you know, Diffuse has a couple issues with it. One is that I can't tell if there's a timer or not. I felt like one round that I played, only one. I played probably like 60 rounds now, and all of them have ended before without camping. But I felt like one round specifically, I remember it timing out, and we won the round because the guy didn't grab the bomb, and he just sat her off in some corner. And so last week, Colin and I were kind of concerned on whether or not there was an actual time limit, which it doesn't appear that you can visibly change it. There's not one that appears at the beginning of a round. It's not anywhere apparent. So that is the first red flag for me is there a time limit to these? Because I don't want infinite 5v5 rounds going on where one dude is just camping and the other dude is camping and they don't want to die because they don't have to arm anything and they don't have to move. That doesn't feel like that makes any sense for a bomb game mode. The second thing that is very, very fucking strange and pisses me off is that they let you end the matches in ties. How the hell can you end a bomb game mode in a tie?
Did you know that competitive Counter-Strike matchmaking does the same thing? They do the same thing.
Colin.
You can finish 15-15.
I don't care. That doesn't make any sense. You go in.
No, it makes no sense. It's alright though, because they don't want people to have matches that last forever, like Gears.
I don't get it. Even on ranked though, you can search an official ranked match for your server browser, and they have you in the game in a tie. I could see if it was tie in a pub, but it's not a pub, it's ranked. How can you end a bomb game mode in a tie? That makes no sense. So every time, now I think I've only gotten 4 ties, and every single time that I've gotten a tie, I've been pissed because it's like I die and I can't, like, I'm trying my best to win the game for our team because some of those guys, I played a couple where everyone in the room is talking, and I played some where no one in the room is talking, and you're sitting there making call outs and no one is saying shit. And those are the ones that are really frustrating because I'm trying to win. I'm playing to win, especially when I go into those specific modes. I'm playing to win, and if you're not talking, you're not communicating, you're just off doing whatever, like, you need to get the fuck out of Diffuse. Go somewhere else. Don't play this game mode, like, at all. That is the type of player that is going to attract. Don't hop in there if you're not talking, and if you're off doing whatever the fuck you want to do. That is the wrong game mode for that. You will piss a lot of people off doing that.
But if they didn't do ties, then someone would lose. They probably feel bad about losing.
It's like everyone wins a ribbon. You get me on one of those rants again. Everyone gets a fucking ribbon. Yay. I don't get it, dude. I was pissed.
I agree. I can see the balance there with making sure the match doesn't last an extra hour due to, like, going back and forth. But those matches are the ones that you fucking remember. You know what I mean? Like,
we were like, those are the matches we remembered on Gears. Like, it's tied up 3-3.
Yeah.
Can we win this round? It goes on for 30 more minutes before someone pulls off 2 clutch plays or whatever, and then you win the round.
Yeah. Same thing. I remember playing even Bad Company 2. I remember going back and forth with TLR in our 9-game best of 5, or no, 9-game best of 3. It was something stupid, but back and forth, just overtime, overtime, overtime.
Father Russia, I am typically not a tryhard in games, but if there are specific game modes where it's like you want to play a certain way, right?
If it's ranked, I'm gonna try hard in every game.
Yeah, and it's ranked.
Unabashedly.
Diffuse is, by the nature of the game mode, traditionally a very competitive game mode in general. You're just not going to play any other way unless it's 20v20, and then it's just like a shit show. I mean, if you're 5v5 competitive on Diffuse or ranked or whatever, you're just not going to see people lollygagging around. So that is what pisses me off the most when playing that specific game mode so far. But the gameplay wise, like I said, I've probably locked, let's see, maybe 60-ish rounds. So what is that, like 10 games or so? Because they make, oh, the other thing is, even if you win, like even if you know you're going to win 4-2 or 5-1, they make you play that 6th round.
Play the rest out?
Yeah, they make you play the rest out.
That's dumb.
That doesn't make any sense, right? If
you're not playing to win, then why are you playing?
So I'm just lost.
That's how I feel about ranked in general. If you're not playing to win, then why are you playing ranked?
Just the general how they implemented the game mode is like half-assed. Like they could do fantastic things with Diffuse, but they choose not to by default. I don't know why. So that is by far my favorite game mode. I predicted that it would be my favorite game mode. It has, like, there's exhilarating moments that, they happen in Conquest, but Conquest is so spaced out, right? Like you're running around for 5 minutes, you're in a chopper, or you're in a tank, and there are very, very clutch, epic moments that happen in Conquest, but there is nothing more exhilarating than being down 3 versus 1. You have to arm the bomb to win. And if you don't, your team's gonna lose, because that has already happened right now for me. And I was like, oh god, this is so fun. And there's other games that have that. Counter-Strike, Gears kind of had that. Or any game that has a bomb game mode with the one life. I mean, it just intensifies the match, and you get that heart-pumping, exhilarating moment. And I love it. Someone said, "Who is that?" Father Russia, you hate the word try hard? Yeah, I hate the word try hard too. But, people will say whatever. I mean, some people play to have fun, some people play to compete, and that's fun. Whatever. But Colin, I think you got to play some Diffuse, man.
I don't know.
I think you got to play.
It's not even that competitive game mode. Why would I play it?
You want to play Domination?
I'd be all about that 5v5 Dom.
I think after seeing and hearing what you're saying, with I didn't even know. Well, I won't say I didn't even know. I saw that they were pushing those two. Diffuse and Domination are listed on that competitive game mode or whatever
on ESL's page.
No, on Battlefield's page.
Yeah, on the Battlefield page.
So both of those are listed as competitive.
But ESL
game
is
types.
just doing Dom.
So if you're not playing those right now and you are interested in competitive Battlefield, it seems like they're saying, hey, this is what you should be playing, not Conquest. Not Conquest, guys. Not Conquest. Domination or Diffuse. So
yeah, looks like they're doing 8 maps too.
Pretty happy about that. Now maps, I don't want to go too much longer on this. Maps, the only one I don't like right now, well, there's one that I think is mediocre. That's Land King Dam. I don't particularly care for that all the time, just because of how the layout is with the island and some of the modes. It doesn't feel like I hate it on Obliteration now. Conquest is okay. Rush is terrible. Domination is pretty good. Bomb is pretty good. I didn't play Squad DM or the other ones. But Land King is probably the one map I'd be like it's mediocre. The one I can't stand is Flood Zone. I cannot stand that map. And that was the map that you happened to see, that you watched that Diffuse gameplay when you were unconvinced that it was like, it was pretty
That was
shitty.
the only Diffuse gameplay I've seen so far.
That
map is massive.
There is something about that map that just pisses me off. Like, I don't know if it's just the layout of the buildings and just having to firefight people that are in windows that you might not see. I don't know.
Seems there's a lot of detail to have to look for people.
Colin, there's so much. I don't know.
Which is my main concern talking to Fuse and Battlefield in general, is just the amount of spots you have to fucking check.
Someone wants to talk about Ghosts already? And we're already at 9. We're already an hour in. Yeah, let's...
I mean, it hasn't even came out today.
Ghosts?
Ghosts came out today.
Well, yeah, it came out today, so there's not a lot to talk about. Yeah, like... But, yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty much it. Maps, pretty good. I'm liking everything. The Levolution on it is kind of gimmicky a little bit to me. There are some aspects like floods. Flood is cool. Other than that, the map is, I don't like it. Siege of Shanghai is, I guess, kind of played out to me now. Operation Locker Room, I think it's supposed to be like Operation Metro. That one can kind of be chaotic, but it is chaotic in a way that I enjoy it. But I've heard mixed feelings on that. Let's see, here is one other map. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. That I really enjoy. Oh, what is the name of that map? Vince and I were playing it. Oh, I can't remember it. Anyway, most of the maps I like, so just keep that in mind. Everything else, I'm not gonna rag too hard on them on bugs because they've been hashing them out, but there's server drops.
I heard that the crash rate's like 50%.
The crash rate is pretty high, but I'm not gonna rag on them too hard because Battlefield 3, be it Battlefield 3 launch, just I don't know. I just didn't like the Battlefield 3 launch, and I can play games in this. I could not play games in Battlefield 3. Like, it was bothering me.
Yeah. Did you see the bug that if you fire a certain gun with a silencer, then it mutes the sound for the entire server for the rest of the game?
Yeah. They fixed that, though.
They already fixed it? Okay.
They fixed it. So, I mean,
that's a pretty bad one.
That's a pretty bad one. So people will be walking around like, I have no sound. And I just equipped my silencer, but I read it a little after I'd equipped it, so I was like, "Oh shit, I'm one of those guys." Like,
you're that guy.
I was fucking up the server, so
that's a pretty bad bug.
It's a pretty bad one. I'll admit that. So
that said, don't blame the QA guys. It was probably out of their control.
Yeah.
Probably.
Let's see. Properties. Let's go ahead and get to yours real quick, Colin, and then we'll hit Diretide? Dota?
So, this is Dota, yeah. This is Dota. So for Team Fortress, for like the last 5 years, I think, they've done a Halloween event where they've released content on Halloween and done a big hoopla and everything. Last year, they did one for Dota called Diretide, which was a special mode they had unlocked and a few seasonal things. So this year, everyone's expecting another Diretide because, like, the splash page said it was an annual event and everyone's expecting it. So the time gets close. A couple days before, people are like, "Hey, Valve released Diretide on the 30th last year, so it'll probably come on the 30th again." So a thread goes up on the 29th. They're like, "All right, this is the anticipation thread." So everyone's getting all excited. There's like 3,000 posts of people excited for the Diretide to come online and see what Valve's releasing. Halloween comes along, no update during the day, so everyone starts spamming in the Dota subreddit, "Give Diretide," and all the streams and everything. It was just an endless flood of this, just endlessly. And then the night ends, still nothing. Valve hasn't said anything, nothing released. Everyone's just spamming shit. They even spammed the Volvo subreddit. Since, of course, like, that's the joke, is Volvo, you know, instead of Valve. So, like, the Volvo subreddit got spammed. The guys there were all enjoying it. Volvo even tweeted a few things, joking about it, saying for Valve to give Diretide. And people started giving the Metacritic reviews of 0 for the game, saying "Give Diretide," like spamming bad reviews on Metacritic. There's been a few articles about it. People were even posting on all these different Facebook pages. There's screenshots of them doing it on like Obama's Facebook page for his most recent post. Just all over the fucking internet was "Give Diretide."
Oh wow!
And Valve didn't say shit. Valve didn't say shit from the 25th when people started talking about Diretide which is really like something everyone's been expecting all month. You know, people started to get excited on the 25th. Went all the way to a pitch on Halloween. Everyone waiting for an update. Valve still hadn't said anything either way. The community guys who were kind of in tune with Valve, but not like super in tune with them, they hadn't really said much. They had hinted towards it possibly coming out, but they didn't really know. So Halloween came and went. Next day came and went. Next day came and went. Valve still hasn't said anything about it. Everyone just kind of accepted that there is no Diretide this year. So the appreciation thread the anticipation thread turned into a disappointment thread.
Did they change the title?
Yeah, they posted up a new thread. It was like the Diretide disappointment thread or something. So it was just a mess, and the whole thing. I guess what it leads into as a conversation point is: do you think that Valve is obligated to tell people that content isn't coming in this kind of a case? Valve historically hasn't had community managers or PR people. There's no one at the company who has that title of community manager. No one has the title of PR person. So do you think they're obligated to let the community know that they're not going to release a monthly or an annual update? I mean, it's kind of like...
It's like once you set the precedent, like, you might as well do it.
Yeah, but that said, I should clarify that they haven't said outright that it's come. They never said it was going to come. It's not like it was just late, you know, or they didn't deliver.
So they
never said it was going to come. But last year it said, "This is Diretide, an annual celebration of Roshan, blah 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 blah, the fiction for it." So like that was it. The only time they mentioned it technically was a year ago.
And they said it was an annual celebration.
Yep. And Team Fortress has had them for a while now. They've actually been annual.
I mean,
and of course, last month they released a big meta-changing patch that changed a ton of heroes, so it wasn't like they haven't done anything this month.
I'm gonna stick with my guns. Like, if you set a precedent, you might as well just stick to it. Like, something should have happened. If
or
not
say
Diretide,
something.
or yeah, say something, or say, hey, no Diretide this year. We're rolling out something for Christmas or Thanksgiving. We have a new annual celebration.
We're working on something big, blah blah blah.
Right.
Which is what it sounds like they're obviously doing work. It's just they didn't focus on Diretide this year. But the fact they didn't say anything made the community go into a fever pitch, which is what the Dota community does really well, is bandwagon shit.
That is hilarious that they were putting on Obama stuff.
Yeah.
And got Volvo involved. That's pretty awesome on Volvo's part to tweet.
Acknowledge it? Yeah.
Give Diretide.
And of course, it was like the biggest thread that that subreddit has ever had, and their viewer counts were way higher than normal.
Volvo. Oh, we got to capitalize on this. These gamers are going to be buying Volvos left and right now.
The fuck, Volvo? Why no Diretide? So yeah, that was all I had on that.
That's pretty funny. All right, so show is going over, so I'm just going to hit the Call of Duty Ghosts. We talked a little bit about resolution early on. That was a big talking point. So I haven't played the game yet. As you guys can see, this is still wrapped up. I got the digital download code. I'm not going to open that up so you guys can see, but I got the code. I got to put that in. Obviously, I was just tweeting I have some issues with my live account. So I'm debating on whether or not I'm actually going to put this on my Xbox because of my worry that it won't transfer over properly to Xbox One. We'll see if I can get that all worked out. But the reviews have been coming in for Ghosts. Colin, have you seen them?
I've been keeping tabs.
Okay, so pretty, I wouldn't say mixed. I would say heavily negative so far. A couple people like, this is what we expect. They're not going to change the formula. This is Infinity Ward. And a couple of the things that I saw people kind of bashing them on was Infinity Ward versus Treyarch. This is something that we've talked about a couple times now. And I wish I had the quote up. I didn't copy and paste it, where someone blatantly, I want to say it was like Destructoid. Someone, I can't remember who it was, but I was just kind of glancing through Metacritic. But someone blatantly was like, called out Infinity Ward and say they're just nowhere near up to par as Treyarch. And it's like they're running through the motions, basically, is what they were getting at. In terms of what I've watched some gameplay, haven't been overly impressed. A lot of people are complaining about the map sizes. the competitive community is all up in arms. Like, what are we going to do? Are we going to play this? Are we going to go back to Black Ops 2, which is, you know, something we were talking about? And they don't really have an option, right? I think the championships is going to be on either Xbox One or 360, and it's going to be on the new
Columbus,
one.
they're running Ghosts on 360, I believe, right?
Yeah, for Columbus, but the championships are in March.
Yeah, it'll be Ghosts on whatever console. Probably Xbox.
So, I mean, they don't really have a choice. They got to play. They can't go back. You can't go back. So, I think it's pretty interesting and telling to see that Infinity Ward continues to be shitty Infinity Ward, Modern Warfare 3 Infinity Ward, ever since they've kind of lost the Respawn crew. They left, whatever you want to say. And it seems like the only studio that you can rally behind which I wouldn't say innovative, feature complete. Maybe feature complete might be the words I want to use to describe Treyarch's approach towards Call of Duty.
They've targeted competitive features more in general.
True.
I'd say that's true since Black Ops, really.
And the other thing that I think is worth mentioning is, I don't know how long if at all, or it has happened, but Black Ops being hacked was really difficult. Really difficult. And Ghost was hacked in 2 days? A day? Something like that. So, I mean, there's just a number of issues that have plagued Infinity Ward and their Call of Duty continually, and I'm going to get the opportunity to play it. Tint said that I won't like it, so I'm going to have some more in-depth thoughts on next week's show. But initial impressions from what I've been reading everywhere have just been pretty much shitting on the game, at least from the competitive community. The race is going on right now, so...
The race is a joke. I'm sorry. They start 8 hours before the game even came out.
Yeah, that's not fair.
How's that fair?
It's not fair. It's true. So...
Okay, I'm going to race you downtown. I'm going to start now. You can leave in 8 hours.
Okay, that sounds fair. I'm ready.
Just yeah, that's a joke.
I mean, the same.
They're gonna make bank though. It's all right.
Yeah, matter. Same group of guys are going to win or come in first and second or whatever because they got the copies early and they were first on the service when they went live and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think that there's not much left to expect from Call of Duty. It has become Madden. I just don't know what people would kind of think they were going to get with Call of Duty now. I mean, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Like, if they change things, people are going to be pissed off at this point. If they keep it the same, people are going to be pissed off at this point. Like, I'm impartial to it. Like, it is what it is. The lowest common denominator game that you can play for shooter. That's Call of Duty. Is there much more to say on it as of right now? Alan, you got anything?
My hands are kind of tied. I can't say much because the company I work for is in the credits.
So, there you go. That's what Colin can say. He contributed to...
That's really the extent that I can contribute to this conversation.
He contributed to people being upset.
I can...
Destroyer of fun continues.
Even start.
All right, so that's pretty much it for this week's show. I want to wrap this up because kind of getting into that long realm. Got no internet issues this week.
9:15. Yep.
Feeling good. We blasted through it, Colin. You were like, "Oh, I'm not prepared for this week." Don't worry.
I said I wasn't prepared.
I know. I'll put you on my back. I'll carry you. Don't worry.
Yeah, nothing.
I'll put you. Let's go.
I see you get some video for the level stuff. Then I'll do. We'll do level stream soon.
Yeah, we got to do that real soon, like next week soon.
For the newest drops.
I mean, yeah, PlayStation 3 is next week, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
or 4. PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4. I'm sorry, PlayStation 4 is next week.
Yep.
We got to do that, man. Q&A session. Let's go, chat. We had some very nice questions last week. Unfortunately, I didn't get to upload them to the video because there were so many issues with TWC. Fuck you, Time Warner. Have a nice day.
That's right, though. AT&T's rolling out gigabit in 4 cities or 4 areas of Austin.
Oh yeah.
AT&T's on the way.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden, they want to go ahead and do this stuff.
They have to. They don't want to lose that customer. Yeah. Customer base.
What is the level stream? We're gonna do top 10 levels of current gen.
Top multiplayer levels of current gen.
Yep. I've already got my list.
Yeah,
I just need to make some video stuff for it.
Our lists pretty much overlap, so I don't know if I'm gonna make a. I might add a few in there. And you know, we'll talk about this after the show. Not really.
You just add to it, and then I'm gonna pare down to 10, and then we'll do whatever.
Okay. Colin streaming. Colin, when are you gonna start streaming?
I stream a bit. I haven't been playing anything, to be honest.
You could be streaming Go. People want to see you dominate.
I don't know about that. It's pretty average. Those be telling me I have awful grenade spots because I don't know any of them.
That's what I was doing in Diffuse. My first video, you should see. I actually have it up right now. It's live. My first Diffuse video, I'm just throwing set nades. Like, no idea where people are going to be.
I mean, at least in that case, like, you're doing it with everyone else. Like,
no, I'm the only one doing it because I'm the only one that knows how to play the fucking
You're the only one trying to throw nades, yeah. We're at Counter-Strike, like, if you don't know the nades, then you clearly didn't play that much because other guys have been playing for 10 fucking years on the same 5 fucking maps, and they know their fucking nades. You know? So, like, it sticks out pretty quickly. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. I'm not bad. Like, I'm not bad, but I can't throw nades for shit.
Will you be playing Titanfall on PC or console? Colin?
Console. We've talked about it before. I think console is where the competitive action is going to be after that game.
Yeah, so we're going to be pretty heavily focused on console on that. I'm actually getting on both. So, and well, let me say, if I get it on console and I get the collector's edition, I will probably just get it on console.
200 fucking
$250, baby. I'm gonna have the badass statue. You're gonna be jealous.
Yeah, I'll be jealous. All right.
It's gonna be right there with those giraffes. No, it's not gonna
be right there with the giraffes.
Chrissy gonna keep those.
Chrissy would not let you have those.
Yeah. It's gonna be at work on my desk. I'll just tweet you guys pictures. I already know I'm defeated. There's no winning.
You just try and slip it in like really casual, like just have giraffe, big Titan mech, giraffe, just to see if she notices.
Yeah, she notices everything. Let me see. Arctic, why even get Ghost on 360 and not just wait for it on Xbox One? So here's a little secret. I haven't purchased it. That's not me purchasing the game. So I have the freedom to get it on Xbox 360 and Xbox One. I would not recommend that anyone get it on Xbox 360, to be honest.
You can update for $9.99.
That's a waste of $9.99. Just wait. There's nothing that pressing.
Well, I mean, if you weren't going to get the console at launch, then
yeah,
you might want to get it, especially if you're a big on Prestige and stuff.
Don't even bother with Gal questions. I didn't even see one. We didn't.
Although that is pretty much our code now, is not bother with Gal questions.
Yeah, you would just.
I mean, the game came out like a year ago, and they haven't released any real news. There's some news about them searching for developer, but it was all forming news. Like, there's nothing hard, so I don't want to talk about it.
When is the next Around the Horn style episode of Frag Logic going? Father Russia.
We talked about it at the beginning.
Yeah, January.
Episode 50, right?
Episode 50 will be our next Around the Horn episode. We may have a couple people on. I'll try to get some devs on. We haven't had a dev on in a while. Last one was Dave Lang from Iron Galaxy Studios. Dive Kick. Truth. So yeah, maybe we should try to get some devs on the show.
I'd love to get someone from Project Spark actually once their beta's up and rolling.
I'll send out some stuff. The excuses. Titanfall, Skyllus, Arctic. What is the most hyped game for next gen for you right now? Minus Destiny.
Titanfall.
That is by Barkasar. Titanfall, yes.
Destiny's probably number 2.
Destiny number 2, Titanfall number
Actually,
1.
Project Spark's probably number 2. Destiny's probably number 3.
I don't know what my number 3 is.
Pretty pumped
no,
for Project
The Division.
Spark.
The Division is my number 3.
Division.
That makes Project Spark my number 5. And that's something that's going to be my number 4, because Project Spark, I'm convinced that it is the shit, Colin. But
all right. Within the next 4 weeks, I'll have that moving up on your list. Once I start putting out a couple videos.
PSN has dedicated servers. They will eventually, I believe. Do you think we will see cross-platforming on next gen? The excuse last gen was PSN was free and Xbox Live wasn't. So now neither are
that
free,
would require Sony and Microsoft to work together,
which will never happen, ever. So PC, Xbox, I think that you'll probably see some cross-gen. Sony, PC, MMOs, which is, I want to say that happened already. Final Fantasy. Did you play in the same servers as PC people at Final Fantasy?
Yeah, you can now as well.
What about on Xbox? Could you play with PC people on Xbox too?
Yes. Tentatively, yes.
Alright, so I think that is the only case where...
I could be wrong, but I believe those games had cross-plat. So cross-plat to PC is something that can happen. I don't see it happening between Microsoft and Sony.
I saw on NeoGAF.
Most of my video stuff I upload to Arctic VBI or the Amazing MLG page if I upload videos. I don't use my personal YouTube at all.
Marcus.
This is my Twitch address.
Colin, would you buy... Think about this for a minute. Would you buy a Nintendo Wii for $39.99? Wii U, I'm sorry. Wii U.
For $39.99?
Yeah. And the games are still the same price.
Can I sell it for what I currently get on eBay? Because I'd buy as many as you could throw at me at that case. It's like, would you buy a piece of shit for 1 cent if you could get it for 1 cent?
Man, Nintendo is just having such a rough time, dude. Like,
I mean, there's nothing on the Wii U which interests me.
I've been reading all of their press. It has been so awful. Like, people
is there some fun free to play stuff for the Wii U? Like, could I potentially play something for free after that? Enterprise. Yeah, I can't think of anything I want to play. I'd probably buy it just on the premise that something will probably come out eventually, which interests me. You know, like, eventually there'd be something. Although if it wasn't a limited time offer and that was always available to me, like that option was always available, I'd just wait.
The only game that interests me to the level to make me, I don't know, you kind of peek up. Smash used to, but I'm kind of over that.
You need Mario Kart. Play with, yeah.
Mario Kart is the only game that I would play a lot of on Wii. None of the Mario games, because it's like, I played so many Mario games and burned out. So many Mario games. I played so many. How can you still want to play Mario? I can only play Mario 20 times. They have 40 games. That's double. I'm tired.
There's more than 40. There's way more than 40. Especially if you include stuff like Mario Party. I think there was like 20 of those alone. They used to be my shit though, Mario Party.
Alright, so it looks like people had questions. Alright, so wrap up this show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We will see you guys next week, and we're going to be talking about maps. Top 10 maps of current gen or all time?
Current gen. All right. I limited it because else I would have had 10 Quake maps, and that would have been no fun.
I would have had probably 10 Unreal maps, so.
Then our list would have been just Quake and Unreal.
Yeah.
And people would have been like, oh, okay.
You guys are fucking stupid.
Might have maybe thrown in a CS map or something, just to throw a little bit of love that way.
So yeah, next week's show probably going to be a little bit different for the formatting. Colin, well, I might have to go over there so we could do this proper.
I got you covered.
Because we have to use some tools to do this how I want to do it.
I'm just going to have like VLC up. Yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, next week's probably going to be a pretty big show. I would hope that you guys want to see this one. Obviously, if you're on YouTube, let us know your top 10 maps of all time, or I'm sorry, current gen, and we will see how it kind of mixes with our own. But hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next week. Adios.
Later, guys.